The bass and the bass song just hits hard.
It does. I had the
So
drums
good.
going. I had the drums going.
So good.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's a banger. It's a banger. Shout out to Akira the Don. Welcome everyone to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts. To my right is a man who is all jacked up on Mountain Dew and isn't wouldn't hesitate to hit an old man, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired because that Seahawk game ended at 1:30 in the morning. But
Gross.
I also must extend my sympathies to the Mariners and the Mariner fans out
Yeah.
there. I was rooting for them, but here's the thing, Ryan, and I did not know this. Did you know that a certain Donnie Baseball is a bench coach for Toronto?
Indeed.
And he is now finally, after many, many, many years as a player and manager, going to his first World Series. I was going to root for Toronto anyway because the Dodgers, only Kevin wants to see them win again. But it's fait accompli now. I'm rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays. Win one for Don, man. Win one for Don. But how are you tonight, sir?
I just hope both teams have fun. That's how I feel about it. I'm full on concentrated hockey season. No more baseball for me. I don't care who wins the World Series. I just know that LA fans are LA fans, and the entire nation. I will say this for Toronto, they have an entire nation behind them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good on them for reaching the World Series. And interestingly enough, the Toronto Blue Jays advanced to the World Series the day before the new Netflix documentary "Who Killed the Montreal Expos" is released on Netflix. So I cannot wait to watch that tonight after I'm done with post production stuff. Post op stuff.
You are surgical with the edits.
Oh, excuse me. And the burps apparently.
Oh man, that's what a noise gate's for.
That's right. That's right. But no, after I get done with post prod, gonna watch that documentary because I gotta say this. I mean, other than the Yankees, I had an affinity with the Montreal Expos back in the day, and then that
Yeah.
'94 strike happened, and uh, got ugly from there. But
Who doesn't love that logo though? That logo
oh,
was awesome,
it
man.
incorporated at the M, the E, and the B in the same logo. You can't lose with that.
Yeah.
Can't
No.
lose. Can't lose. All right, we're gonna talk about NFL Week 7 tonight on this program. But before we do that, we got some comments in the comment section. I'll get to those in just a moment. But before we do that, just want to remind you to follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And you can also find our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and that includes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and Podbean, which is our host, and hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know when our shows go live, when we have videos go up on YouTube, and when we have general show announcements. Although tonight we are on the Belly Up Sports Twitter, so hit that notification, follow Belly Up Sports. Actually, you know what? In addition to No Credentials Required, follow Belly Up Sports on all the platforms,
Yeah.
because not only do we have great content on our channel, but we've got great content on the Belly Up Sports YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram. Dustin and I have been both in the last 24 hours. Both Dustin and I have released videos or put together shorts that are going up on the Belly Up Sports, all of our platforms on Belly Up Sports. So check it out there. Dustin brought some fire with the breakdown of the Seahawks game tomorrow night. I've been focusing on hockey. So yeah, check it out. Belly Up Sports. Go to all our platforms, support it. This program will be the replay of this show will be on tomorrow in the after. Actually, I'm gonna put up in the morning, and you can watch it then. And just give us your takes about Week 7. What conclusions did you come to? How did your team do? What did you think about your team's performance? Even if they're on a bye week, even on a bye week, let us know. And again, we're a live show. on Tuesdays. Where is that button? There it is. On the podcast side, rate, review, comment, 5-star rating, leave a review on podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchaser. If you're on Spotify, listening on Spotify, leave us a comment. We'll even read it on the air. And also, if you're watching the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel tomorrow morning when the show goes up, when the show is posted, leave us a comment there because it drives the algorithm, because YouTube keeps changing things with the algorithm and how views are decided. And again, we're a live show Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Dustin, I know it's been a long day for you because you had a late night last night, but
Yeah.
I know this tune always seems to pick you up when you're feeling down.
Oh, yeah. Even when I'm tired, I always love the sound of the chimes. It's chime time.
Yes, it is. Praise God. And we got some comments in the comments section. An old friend of ours coming back. Desi's back. She says, "Hey, fellas. Good evening to you, milady." Dan, speaking of Dan, he said, "Good evening, lads. I'm a very tired president of BS and got 2 shows to do today."
Oh, man. Is one of those a post-game show, question mark?
Perhaps, I don't know. Desi says, "Glad to be here," and she says, "I pull for the Blue Jays most nights."
Yeah, that's an inside joke.
Inside joke. We're not gonna disclose why.
It's inside baseball, if you will.
Dan asks if I taste nickels. No.
I don't know.
If it's a dirty joke, it's a family show, Dan. It's a family show. And Desi saying, just like licking the end of a battery. Kevin Wilson chiming in from the Seahawks sessions and other podcasts saying, as he should have, Seahawks. Dan saying, Dustin, your lighting is giving spooky vibes. Are the lambs screaming?
The lambs have been silenced, Dan. They've been silenced.
There it is. There it is. And he confirms, yes, there will be a post-game show.
All right.
To break down.
I will be there.
Well, I'll try to be short with our time.
No, man. There's time. There's time.
Dan, Dustin will be late.
We're like Gandalf. We finish precisely when we mean to. Never late nor early.
No, a wizard's always on time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get going here. Talk about NFL Week 7. What stood out to us, and we're going to start off with our game of the year of the week. My goodness, there were some clunkers this week. To put things lightly, there were some absolute clunkers this week, but this game in particular, Dustin and I were unanimous on with this game being the game of the year of the week, and it was the New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. What an ending to that show. That football game. I got my thoughts on it. I got some things to share. But I want to start with you, Dustin. This was your upset pick for this week, and you were this close.
No, I thought
close to nailing your pick
for about 3 1/4 this game. I'm thinking to myself, I nailed this one. I had it dead to rights. But Ryan, I tried. This is one of those moments where I was like, I know he's going to pick that game. I got to pick something else. So I'll just give a quick shout out to the Arizona Cardinals versus the Green Bay Packers. That game got interesting late. You got to give a shout out to Jacoby Brissett. He's playing quarterback decently enough for the Arizona Cardinals. They're undermanned. They got injuries, but they fight each week. A lot of teams could take a lesson from that. But it's Giants-Broncos, no question about it. And this had a bit of the Giants defense was pitching a clinic for the first 3 quarters of this game. The Broncos couldn't get anything going. And then all of a sudden the fourth quarter happened. The Giants led 19. The Broncos were down 19-0 at one point, and they were down 19-8 at the start of the fourth quarter. And this game This game had the usual suspects effect, which means it's got a strong finish. It's going to be a finish that everyone remembers. Ryan, the last time I remember feeling like this about a game was that Bills-Vikings classic from a couple of years ago. I was writing in my notebook, scratching feverishly, and this game did that. This game, it was crazy because the Giants defense, the Broncos came alive. I'm not sure, and I'll be curious to hear about your analysis, because I don't know whether this is more of a choke by the Giants defense or it's just the Broncos just caught fire, got all the momentum. They came roaring back. They took the lead 30-26 late in the fourth with no timeouts. I'm still mystified how they put that together. Bo Nix really got it going in the fourth quarter. And then the Giants and Jackson Dart come back and they score a TD after converting on a 3rd and 19 plus with help from a pass interference call. And then Peyton also got a flag because he was very angry about the pass interference call. He did not think it was pass interference, and he let the refs know. And sometimes if you're too aggressive with that, it's going to come back to bite you. And then it put the ball at the 1. The Giants score. They go up 32-30. And then the Broncos end up driving down. They get into field goal range and they kick a Will Lutz. Yes, that's right. Sean Payton is still using Will Lutz as his kicker after all these years. Will Lutz field goal seals the deal. A heartbreaking loss for the Giants. What a win for the Broncos. They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat with this one because, like you said, for three and a quarter quarters, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking I nailed my upset pick. I nailed it. And then the football gods awoke.
Yep. And by the way, that Vikings game was in 2022, where the Vikings were the worst 13-4 team in NFL history.
We were
there it is.
We were all over it.
Yes. I got it in. I got the joke in. Second worst to the 13-4 Vikings from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Viking teams were mid.
Offensively, they were good, but defensively, they were terrible.
They were awful, as our friend of the show, Wise El Jefe, would say. Shout out to our tribal chief. But he was probably beside himself after this game. Man. Let me tell you, this Giants game was incredible. This was my spotlight game I talked about on Saturday morning. I said this is a game to watch because this is going to be a very interesting showdown between two teams. Two teams are kind of riding high after victories over the Eagles, while the Broncos almost got caught in, dare I say, a trap game last week in London, or a week before in London. And it was going to be an interesting game. And it looked like the Giants were going to run away with this game. In the fourth quarter, they went up 19-0 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a fait accompli. And by the way, the Broncos offense, they were being booed off the field. Booed off the field because the fans were so unhappy with their performance. And the fourth quarter rolls around. On 3 consecutive possessions by both teams, they exchanged touchdowns. Broncos scored, got 2-point conversion. Giants scored, they fill a 2-point conversion. Broncos scored, they get a 2-point conversion. Then they get an interception, which leads to another touchdown. And on that touchdown, they took, I believe they took the lead. They took the no. I'm sorry. It was an interception touchdown. They got within 3. They forced a 3 and out from the Giants. They scored a touchdown in that possession. They're up 4 points, and then the offense for the Giants gets, as you mentioned, gets the ball back. They drive the field. They're aided by some penalties. 2 on the same play: the the DPI, and Sean Payton's temper getting the best of him.
Yeah,
and the Giants getting the ball half the distance to the goal. Jackson Dart scores. You think, oh, it's all over. The extra point was missed.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Not only did he miss that one, but he also missed the one from when they took a 19-0, and they were up by 19. he missed that extra point too. That was Jude McAtamney, who is replacing the injured Graham Gano. So he misses the extra point, and it's only a 2-point lead. Broncos drive down the field in 4 plays. That includes a Giants neutral zone fraction penalty that got the Broncos 5 yards closer. And then Will Lutz, shut up, Lutz. If you know the reference, drop it in the chat, or on YouTube, or on Belly Up Sports YouTube. Shut up, Lutz. If you know the reference, he walks it off. Now, it was reported today. Actually, Adam Schefter from ESPN reported about an hour ago that the Giants did release McAtamney. He's the replacement kicker who missed those 2 extra points. But here's the crazy thing. I saw this meme. I posted it in our Discord. By the way, come join our Discord. It's in the chat. It's in the description. Cool people only. If you're a troll or a chud, you're gonna be kicked out. Because I'm the moderator.
We will use the ban hammer.
We will use a ban hammer, and we will use it good. Yes, we will. Demaryius Thomas, passed away a couple of years ago. He passed away at age 33. Former Bronco, former Patriot, former Jet. Most known for that long touchdown in the playoffs from Tim Tebow, that passing pattern to Tim Tebow, and he ran it all the way for a touchdown. Demaryius Thomas, one of the great receivers in Broncos history. He passed away at age 33. In his Ring of Fame induction ceremony and game, the Broncos scored 33 points in the 4th quarter, had 2 8-point drives, a nod to number 88, because that's the number that Demaryius Thomas wore. The defense recorded 33 solo tackles, and the game-winning drive started with 33 seconds left.
That's insane to me. And when you posted this, I couldn't believe it. Blew my mind. It really makes you have to, things lined up perfectly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was just whether you want to call it fate, whether you want to call it coincidence, whether you want to call it providence. It's just that interesting that all happened in the same game. Incredible. This is definitely one of those games you just like. The NFL is just drunk this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's being written by drunken monkeys this year. For sure. Comments in the comments section. Dan say he's got time to BS. Ding. And did the post-game show. Ding. For Seahawks sessions. He also says the Giants and the Jets need to go to the moon. The Giants can go to the moon. The Jets can go to Jupiter. If they survive the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter. Yes, that's a thing.
If they go to Jupiter, does that mean there'll be some drops on Jupiter? I'm sorry. I really went for that one.
Let's go in the box for 3 minutes. Just kidding. Desi saying that that 4th quarter of the Giants-Broncos game was basically a show. Kevin saying quarter of the year, Giants at Denver. Does he saying, I now know why most Jets fans are pessimistic. Yes, go watch my latest edition of Just Endure the Suffering on Sunday, where I broke down the game. An awful game between the Jets and the Panthers. And I give you my evidence that Woody Johnson is cheap. And also foreshadowing, I'll be talking about Woody Johnson for my biggest takeaway this week because he opened his mouth today at the NFL owners meeting, and I got some things to say about it. Kevin saying, shout out to the Cardinals. Never.
I know, Kevin, you're not going to like the rest of the show from me either.
Desi says Giants-Broncos was basically Ripley's Believe It or Not sideshow extravaganza, complete with the bearded lady. It was bizarre. And she's also acknowledging our tribal chief.
Yeah. Love that.
Kevin Wilson saying the Giants kicker was left at the stadium. Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator, should have also been left at the stadium. He should have been made home to walk. He should have been made to walk home because he should have been left in Denver after that pitiful performance in the 4th quarter. And I realized that the guys were, his personnel on the field, they were dropping like flies. And Kayvon Thibodeau was out for a couple plays. The secondary is getting decimated with injuries, but still, it's next man up. You got to scheme better. And that performance, and New York Giants fans have been calling for the head of Shane Bowen since week 1. And that was just proof positive. Why is he still here?
Yeah.
Julie from Michigan saying, hello, gentlemen. She must be very happy based on last night's performance by her Detroit Lions with a nice win over the Buccaneers. And Desi saying they allowed me in the Discord, so trolls are welcome. LOL. All right, let's move on to our biggest upset of week 7. I didn't really see one. Other than I guess you could say Steelers, the Bengals and the Bengals-Steelers game was my biggest upset because there really wasn't a game in my mind that was outstanding in terms of upsets. I know there was one game where there's only a 1.5 point like a game, like a 1.5 difference in terms of the being favored. I think Miami was favored over 1.5 over the Browns. I don't really count that. Anything that's like a point in it, like 3 points or under, I don't count that as an upset. But I will say the Bengals in their second game with Joe Flacco, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the way that they did it, I thought that was my biggest upset of week 7. But your opinion might be different, so I'm going to hand it over to you, Dustin. Your biggest upset of week 7 in the NFL.
Well, for the most part, Ryan, I agree with you. There wasn't a game that really stuck out if you look at the point differential and things like that. But what I'm going to say, I'm picking what to some may be a surprising pick, but for me, it was surprising that a certain team won, and I'm going to pick the Cowboys over the Commanders. I really thought that this was an upset. It felt like an upset for me because optically, all right, you could say that the Cowboys offense is on par with the Commanders, or at least what the version of the Commanders offense that we have come to know and expect, with a healthy, I'm going to put a big asterisk, healthy Jaden Daniels back there. And it looked like he got hurt again in this game. He came up pulling his hamstring. However, if you were to force me to choose between the Commanders defense or the Cowboys defense, I'm taking the Commanders defense all day, because the Cowboys defense hasn't been able to stop anyone. See that Russell Wilson led Giants game. That thing was a shootout because neither defense could stop anybody. And so the Cowboys have proven they can't stop anybody, but guess what they got in this game? They actually got some stops. I forget who was on commentary for that one, but even they were surprised. They're like, oh, the Cowboys.
I think that was Burkhardt and Brady.
I think you're right, because I think at one point Burkhardt goes, oh, the Cowboys defense got to stop. Like, he was genuinely surprised. He was genuinely surprised, as were the rest of us. So I'm, no shade to Dak and the rest of the Cowboys offense. That George Pickens signing continues to look really, really good for the Dallas Cowboys, and Javonte Williams. As much as we get on everybody in Dallas, and rightfully so, you got to give credit where credit's due. Old Jerry got it right with that one, but however, I still can't believe they pulled this out, because the Commanders' defense I thought would be better, and I thought the Cowboys' defense would fold like a chair, but it just didn't happen. Now, partially it's because Marcus Mariota, he was in there because of the Jaden Daniels injury, but to me, this was still an upset.
Yeah. Speaking of play-by-play color commentator teams, found out early in the week of who's going to be covering the Jets-Bengals game on Sunday. My favorite and yours, Dustin.
Oh.
Good old the Spiro special.
Remember?
The D-list game of the week with him and Autumn Archuleta.
People came for me when I expressed my distaste for Spiro Didis's work there, and people came for me on Twitter a little bit.
Well, he's no longer with Belly Up Sports.
Oh, no.
But this is my reaction after it was announced that Spiro is going to be announcing the Jets game this week.
Kids, won't you step outside for a second?
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
I love that clip.
It's such a good one.
That was from Who Shot Mr. Burns, Part 1.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic episode. Remember how big that was in the 90s,
Yeah.
Ryan? Everybody's trying to guess.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Everybody thought it was a Smithers.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Smithers.
They did the
I won't
old
spoil it
okey-doke.
for those who haven't watched it, but you can look it up yourselves.
Mhm.
Biggest disappointments of week 7. Actually, we got a couple comments in the comment section. Julie saying second strong defense showed up. They did. Absolutely they did.
Yeah.
Kevin saying you can't trust Rodgers or the Steelers. That's true. That's true.
What'd you say last week? The 49ers and the Steelers are two
Our
teams
contenders
that are-
wearing skin suits.
yeah. That's what it was.
I had to say because it's spooky season.
It is apparently my lighting. Hey, I'm still trying to figure it out, everybody. I got a new lighting apparatus. I'll get it going. But come with me on this illuminating journey, won't you?
I see what you did there.
Oh man, I'm full of it tonight.
Does he saying, I don't know. We need to hear from Jerry about this defensive performance. He looked pretty excited when they got stops.
Don't you worry. I was going to get to that. I was going to say, Ryan, I like this co-host now. He was complimentary of my Dallas defense. And Des, I can't get that excited anymore because it's me and the Crypt Keeper. I'm using some of the techniques that Mr. Burns used to stay alive. So I can't really get my heart rate up anymore. Luckily, I'm going to take Steven's heart. He doesn't need it anymore, but I need to live for about 30 more years.
Well then. Dan saying the Seahawks defense looks scary. And Julie said that she meant the second string defense because they're dropping like flies again in Detroit on the defensive side of the ball. My goodness.
Yeah, but I like second strong. I might start using that.
Second strong defense. Dan saying, thank you, the San Francisco 40 frauds. Oh my. Snowman, is that you?
Oh,
you
man.
You're swooping in?
Man, I'd love to see those two go back and forth about it.
And Dan says, Dustin's alter ego is a spooky horror character who happens to be Jerry Jones. All right, we're going to talk about our biggest disappointments of week 7. And I'm going to hand it over to my co-host. What was your biggest disappointment of week 7?
I feel bad. To do this again. And I really tried to think about something else to come up with for my biggest disappointment. But you're going to talk about what one of the other things I was going to talk about. But for me, I'm sorry. It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders for sure, because I was very bullish on the Pete Carroll hire. I thought that he would at least now Dan's going to like what I'm about to say, because Dan has thoughts on Pete Carroll and he expresses them. Mm-hmm. And I would classify myself as a bit of a Carroll defender, but you can't defend this. A lot's been said about the Raiders offense. Okay. And I thought the Geno acquisition was going to go better than it's gone for the Raiders. I didn't think it was going to be great, but I was on record as saying he would elevate the quarterback play, and he has not done that. But just to give you an idea, and I know it's the Chiefs, but the Raiders offense ran a total of 30 plays. The Chiefs had 30 first downs. That's right. The Chiefs had the same number of first downs as the Raiders offense ran total plays. And Ryan, you know Pete Carroll a little bit. What's his identity as a coach?
Run the ball.
Yes, but he also
run the dang ball and also play good defense.
That's right. You hit it with the second point. He is a defensively minded coach. The Raiders could not stop anybody. The Chiefs pulled their starters after the third quarter. None of them played because the Raiders couldn't score, and the Chiefs scored 28 points in 3 quarters. The Raiders defense could not stop anybody, and now Max Crosby's hurt. So this is, I'm sorry, Pete. I thought it would go so much better in your first year. I realize things take time, but something's got to give because, man, the Raiders looked as inept as anybody, and I hate to go after them for about the second week. I feel like it's the second week in a row, or it's the second time in 2 weeks. But this has been disappointing. I will always appreciate Pete as a coach for what he did for the Seahawks. I will respect him. He made a lot of good decisions while he was there, made some bad decisions while he was there. But you cannot argue his Raiders tenure to start has gone about as bad as could possibly go.
I will defend Pete Carroll this much. A lot of that talent that was there, I mean, Geno notwithstanding, but a lot of the personnel that was there was from the previous regimes with Josh McDaniels and McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, and whoever else was there.
I'm trying to remember the guy.
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce, and then there was a guy that got the job right after John Gruden, and he should have stayed because he did well enough.
Rich Bisaccia. He's the special teams coach in Green Bay right now.
Yep,
but he should have stayed too. He should have gotten rewarded with the contract.
Oh, for sure. But I would lightly counter that point, Ryan, because you are correct. But remember, Antonio Pierce got those guys to play some inspired football for a while. So, it's I don't know. Pete's a motivational guy. And I was very vocal. I said, if they buy into his philosophy, that team's going to be better. Mark my words. I thought the AFC West would be the most competitive division in football. And man, the Raiders are behind right now, way behind.
Speaking of your co-host, he's currently spamming our chat, so I'm not going to read. There's too many comments. There's too much stuff for me to read here. And he said something about you coming to the dark side. And he says, to quote Sean Ryan and Princess Bride, "I'm waiting." It was Wallace Shawn, Dan, not Sean Ryan. So it's it's and as Julia would say, as Julia says, wow, this is remarkably depressing for the Raiders. And
absolutely. I feel terrible. I do.
Absolutely.
I don't want to pick on them, but I was bullish, and it has not worked out.
Nope. All right, my biggest disappointments for week 7. It's not a player. It's not a team. It's the entire slate of 1 p.m. games in week 7. The average margin of victory for the 6 teams that won their games, 16.5 points. This included a 31-6 game, a 31-0 game, and a 31-13 game. I know there's a correlation, but correlation does not mean causation. The only exception was the Eagles-Vikings game, but the score did not reflect how dominant the Eagles were in that game. And I'll talk about one of the performances from that game in just a moment. And while the Jets-Panthers game was only a 7-point affair, it was 13-6. That entire game was uglier than my non-existent prom date. It was awful. These games were absolute clunkers.
Yeah.
And they made me lose interest in watching football, and they made me lose interest in watching Red Zone. Can't say I have not been able to say that for ever. But they made me lose interest. I'm like, Scott Hansen's probably has to be the most bored man in that control room in Secaucus, New Jersey, because these games were just, they weren't great. There were three blowouts, 2 games that were, one game was not as close as the final score was, and one game that was just a dog's breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, to give you a little glimpse on how the sausage is made, that's part of the reason why I went outside and smoked what is probably my last cigar of cigar season, man, because that first window was so bad, so bad. And I texted you, Ryan. I said, hey, these games are bad. And you agreed. And I said, something better shape up or we're not going to have much to talk about on Tuesday. And thank goodness that the second window was at least competitive. I mean, man.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. And Sunday night game was all right. I didn't watch the Sunday night game because I was recording. my latest episode of Just Endure the Suffering, and I didn't watch last night's games either. I mean, one of them was a 10 o'clock game. I was at the dinner with a great friend of mine. He had his birthday, so we were enjoying some free wings at Bentley's, baby.
Oh, nice, nice.
So I I can tell you the story. So we're at Bentley's, and we're telling the waitress that we have a birthday. We had the birthday table, and at Bentley's you have to present your ID to show proof that today's your birthday. I said, "Yeah, this guy over here is turning 50." He looks at me and just says something, utters something I can't say on the air. Like, shut up! And then he was congratulating other people who were having birthdays, and one of the tables they had like a little birthday cake type of thing, and they're singing happy birthday, and he goes, "Happy birthday." He goes, "Oh, happy birthday to you." I go, "Yeah, this guy's turning 50. Just go, shut up." But anyway, getting back to my point, none of these games in the 1 o'clock window, none of these games, unless you were a fan of the teams that were playing, and that includes the morning game, the morning game from London, also a clunker. It was god awful. So if you're a fan of any of these, unless you're a fan of the teams that won, you are not enjoying life in the 1 o'clock window of games. These were gross. Let's see here. Let's go to the comments before we take a commercial break. Let's go to our comment section one time. Does he saying Dustin smoked a cigar to the Bama win over Tennessee?
That is right. That's why I did that. But I did see the picture that was posted, or maybe it was on Instagram. The amount of smoke that was in the stadium was unfathomable. It looked crazy.
Either from the fireworks or from the that 1 p.m. game, and Dan saying that 1 p.m. time slot this week was worse than any Sarah Jessica Parker movie.
Hey man, I got to defend Hocus Pocus on this one. I got to defend it. I'm not going to sit here and defend Failure to Launch featuring Terry Bradshaw, but I am going to defend Hocus Pocus, man.
John. So when I hear Failure to Launch, I just think of that scene from Family Guy, the cutaway scene from Family Guy. John. All right, we're going to take our network minute commercial break. And this episode of No Credentials Required is presented by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Let me get their awesome logo up on the screen and tell you a little bit about Righteous Felon as soon as I can find it. There it is. Boom! Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. This episode is fueled by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, the outlaw of the snack world since 2011. Forget the gas station stuff. This jerky is all natural, low sugar, and absolutely packed with flavor. Every 2-ounce bag delivers 20 grams of protein made with beef that has no added hormones, no antibiotics, and no shady business. But jerky is just the beginning. Righteous Felon's lineup also includes beef sticks for on-the-go snacking, tender turkey jerky that's light but still packs a punch and tastes like a Thanksgiving dinner, an authentic South African-style biltong that melts in your mouth. Their flavors range from savory classics like the OG Hickory, my personal favorite, and the victorious BIG, the honey bourbon, to spicy kicks like habanero Escobar and Carolina Reaper. So whether you want smooth, smoky, or fiery heat, they've got you covered. And don't forget, they even have Wild Ranger dog treats, so your four-legged sidekick can join in the snack game too. Head over to righteousfelon.com. Use promo code NOCREDS at checkout to score 15% off every order. Plus, when you spend $50 or more, shipping is free. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, where flavor is the crime, and you're guilty of enjoying every bite. And I got a testimonial here. Got a testimonial from some friends that I sent a care package of Wild Ranger dog treats to their pup. His name is Logan. He's the goodest boy. Got a chance to meet him in Atlanta. He's the goodest boy. Unfortunately, he had to have one of his legs amputated because he got cancer. And I said, you know what? When they were up here in early this month, I said, you know what? I'm going to send them a care package of one of our affiliate sponsors, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. So I sent them 3 bags of the beef and I sent them 3 bags of the chicken. And it came to their door. And I got a text message from my friend Brittany. She says, Logan inhaled them. And I'm like, another satisfied customer. We're going to order more. She said, we'll definitely be ordering more. And I said, use promo code NOCREDS at checkout. So they definitely, I'm pretty sure they definitely ordered some more because we got ourselves another affiliation referral bonus this week. So, and I know that Mr. Pickles, so Logan approved. Pickles also approves of the dog treats as well.
Oh, yes. Yes. He loves them. Every time I watch him, he knows exactly where they are. If I even get off the couch and start to go in the direction of the closet where I keep them, he is right on me. And he's a lot of times he's doing a little dance because he knows those are the treats I give him. I got his greenies for his teeth. You know, you got to keep their teeth clean. But those are the treats. The Righteous Felon treats are the ones I always get for him, rather. And a little bit of a testimonial of my own. I had the biltong for the first time on my vacation in Virginia. We took some Righteous Felon Craft Jerky for the hikes, and shout out to my friends in Virginia, but I'm going to say what it is. Their son is at an age where he's a very particular eater. I will say that. But even he enjoyed the OG flavor of the beef stick of the OG hickory of the Righteous Felon. It was a big hit with him. He's 14 and he's got a very picky palate. So he enjoyed these ones. It was a hit all around. Everyone liked it on the hike.
Yeah. Yeah. So get yourselves, and don't let them know. Use promo code NOCREDS at checkout. But yeah, the jerky, the beef sticks, the turkey jerky, the biltong. You can't go wrong with any of these treats. Even the dogs, even your 4-legged friends will love some Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, the Wild Ranger treats. And as we know, it's not only human approved, it's also a puppy approved, and it gets the no credentials required seal of approval. There's Puppers. Maybe he would like some dog treats.
Maybe he would. I bet you he would.
I wonder if they can make some fish, some like dried fish, wild Ranger seal treats.
Yeah.
So more comments in the comments section. Say his name and he appears. Snowman's in the chat. He says, hey, Snowman checking in. How about those 49ers and Colts? Had it up to here with your 49ers, Snowman.
Oh, man.
But the Colts, real nice. He says, yes, Homer.exe twice executed.
Oh, here we go.
There it is. Dan coming back with San Francisco 40 frauds. Boys, keep it clean in the chat. That's
yeah. Snowman, you just might like what I have to say at the end of the show.
All right. Well, we're getting there. We're almost this close to our biggest takeaways. So let's talk about the most notable performance or performances. And I got 2. Of course, I gotta try to give love to both sides of the ball. And special teams too, but every once in a while. But I'll go with offense. Jalen Hurts, an efficient day. 19 of 23, 328 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Also contributed with 4 rushes and 10 yards in I would say, pretty decisive win over the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday in Minnesota. The defense got it done against Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And their passing offense, at least, they got it going. So I gotta say, congrats to Jalen Hurts. And like I said last week, the Eagles got to try to figure things out on offense to get it going. I think this was the game that turned it around for them. I think. On the defensive side of the ball, yes, I'm going to give credit. This is, hell's frozen over. The Cleveland Browns defense. They held a flaccid. Yes, I said flaccid. Dolphins attack to 219 total yards, forced 4 turnovers, including 3 interceptions out of Tua Tagovailoa, and also forced Mike McDaniel to sit Tua in the fourth quarter. Now, that's not to say that the Browns offense did much better, because they actually had 208 net yards for themselves.
Well, and like 90 some of them were from Quinshawn
Judkins, who had 3 touchdowns of his own. So if you had him in fantasy this week, congratulations to you. But if you also had the Browns defense this week, congratulations to you in fantasy football, because they got 4 turnovers. They sacked Tua twice, and they had a pretty solid game in what looked to be pretty wild weather in Cleveland, where wind gusts got up to like 60 miles an hour of that game. So in that game at Cleveland Brown Stadium. But those are my most notable performances. How about you, Dustin?
Well, like you, Ryan, I'm trying to show some love to both sides of the ball. And I don't know about you, but it was kind of weird. For as much of a clunker as a lot of games were in the NFL this week, there were some great performances everywhere. There was a lot of people to choose from. Will I choose JSN for the second straight week? No. I will be talking about JSN on Seahawks Sessions and the post-game show to be recorded later tonight. Tune in live if you feel like it. But right now, and this is where I said Snowman might be a fan of what I have to say here, because offensively, I'm picking a couple of players. I just have to shout out a lot of players. There was performances all over the field, but Christian McCaffrey. I know. I almost did it. I had to correct myself.
It could be a relative. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But CMC had 24 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 7 receptions for 72 yards. Without Christian McCaffrey, they do not win that game. Christian McCaffrey, we made a case, Ryan. You brought up the point. You brought up the point last week. We talked about whether Bijan Robinson could be considered for an MVP candidate because of how important he is to his offense right now, especially with the injuries all over the 49ers.
Yeah.
Without Christian McCaffrey, they do not win that game. He is a reason that they have the record that they have. His performance was unbelievable. Jonathan Taylor, I also have to shout him out. I believe heading into the weekend, he was the league's overall leading rusher, with a special shout out to that Colts offensive line. They've been very good for him, but he had another game, 16 carries, 94 yards, 3 touchdowns. And last, as much as it pains me to do this, I hope you're watching, Playmaker, because I'm going to shout him out. Anytime you throw 5 TDs, you at least get a shout out on the show. So good on you, Matthew Stafford, even though I wanted the Rams to lose that game. And defensively, I got to give a shout out to Micah Parsons. He had 3 sacks against the Cardinals. And if you watch that game, they were timely sacks because the Packers almost got upset by the Cardinals. But Micah Parsons, every time he sacked Jacoby Brissett, it stopped the drive. It stopped the Cardinals from driving because, and don't look now, Packers fans, but Jordan Love and the Packers, they haven't looked too good. Remember all the Jordan Love hate we got for our take? I'd still take Jalen Hurts over him. I'm sorry. I said it again.
As would I.
But yeah, so Micah Parsons, he really helped the Packers come out with a win there because the Cardinals, they were ready to play in this one.
Yeah, that's for sure. Snowman and Dan having some banter in the chat, which is okay.
Yeah.
Dan says the Browns made the biggest mistake signing Myles Garrett. Well, Myles Garrett blackmailed them basically into once they that's the wrong word. Strong arm them into making them give an extension to him because they didn't want to lose him. Like, although I would have said that they could have recouped their picks from the Deshaun Watson debacle.
Oh man,
could have at least done that. But he probably would have gone somewhere like the Rams or Snowman jumping in the chat. The 49ers. Let's go to the 49ers. All right, let's talk about our biggest takeaways from NFL Week 7. I'm going to start with you, Dustin. What was your biggest takeaway?
All right, this has been a NFC West heavy episode for me, but I'm going to say it: the NFC West right now is the best division in football because you got the Cardinals at 2-5, and everybody's saying, "Oh, the Cardinals stink." Well, they play hard most games. Okay, I know Jonathan Gannon's in some trouble down there because he hit somebody after they made a boneheaded play. I can't remember who it was at this point. It was a couple weeks ago, and people are saying, the team is not coming together. They got injuries. They got injuries at key positions. So the starting running back is out. Their backup to the starter is out. And then Imario DiMercato, he was the backup to the backup. He's out. They also, say what you want about Kyler Murray, but his legs bring another dimension to their game. He's out. Jacoby Brissett has come in, and he's played decently at quarterback. And you can't say that about a lot of teams in the NFL. But then, okay, so we talk about the Cardinals. Cardinals are the Cardinals. But then the Rams, 5-2. The 49ers, 5-2. The
Being
Seahawks,
held together with duct tape, silly putty, and bubble gum.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I am miffed at how they're still 5-2, but they're 5-2. You are what your record
Coaching
says.
Coaching
You
matters.
are.
Coaching matters.
It does. And of course, the Seattle Seahawks are 5-2. And also, it goes to a larger point in the NFL that the NFL feels as open this year as any year that I can remember. There is no unbeaten team. Usually there's still an unbeaten by now. At this point in the season, there is no unbeaten team. Everybody's lost. Everybody's lost some surprising games. I mean, look at Tampa Bay last night. They struggled. They struggled against the Lions' second string defense largely. The NFL just feels as wide open as it has in any year past. And but I'm saying it, as of right now, the NFC West is the best division in football.
Oh, okay. All right.
Will it last? I don't know, but as of now, it is.
I gave my flowers to the AFC South a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
the Colts are still galloping away with the division right now.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then the Jaguars are 1 week they're great, the next week they're terrible.
Yeah.
And then the Texans are who the Texans are. Justin Fields is basically, not Justin Fields. CJ Stroud is the Justin Fields of the AFC South right now. It's sad. It's so sad to see.
It is. But you know what? I don't really think it's necessarily his fault. It's a lot of that. A lot of it is, I think, the offensive line. He doesn't have that number one target right now. He has no running game to speak of, and it's his second offensive coordinator in 3 years. That's tough. Let's not forget he's only a third-year player. We anointed him a star after his first year, and he's come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah,
I
think DeMeco Ryans' first mistake was firing Bobby Slowick. He should have given him another year. Give him another year, but he's impatient. You wanted to win now, but look what's cost you. All right, for me, originally I was going to have an update on my hot seat contenders for coaching in the NFL this week. But things changed this afternoon when Woody Johnson opened his big dumb mouth holding court at the owners meeting with the Jets beat and made some pretty interesting comments about the state of the team this season. Let's talk about some of the things he said. He said that he gives a hug to Aaron Glenn every week. We're going to win with the power of friendship, baby. Woo! He also discussed the future of some players, particularly Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, whether he's going to be a Jet at 4 o'clock in 2 weeks, at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time in 2 weeks, remains to be seen. But the most notable thing he said was about Justin Fields. And he said this, so help me God, this was a real quote when he was asked about Justin Fields. Quote, "It would help if he could complete a pass." Close quote. This is your owner. This is the owner of the team. Now I get it. Like us fans, like we fans, we have the right to say that Justin Fields stinks. Okay. We
Yeah.
have that right. But you're the owner of a National Football League franchise. You don't say that in
No.
public. You don't say that in public in front of the press. And look, we Jets fans, we're looking at the hindsight of Aaron Glenn's decision to let Aaron Rodgers walk all the way to Pittsburgh, and we see how they're doing. But for your employer to have zero confidence, zero faith in you tells you what a failure this season has been for the Jets. And if I'm Justin Fields, for as lousy as I've played the last since week 2, right, week 1, it's looking more and more like an anomaly. But there's some reasons for that. It's not entirely on Justin Fields, okay? So let's just put it that way. Let's not get it twisted. But if I'm Justin Fields, I'm asking for either a trade or I'm asking for my release after my owner comes out and says, yeah, if we could complete a pass, things will be better.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing. Woody Johnson was okay for this, giving the trust of this regime to bring in Justin Fields because they figured, all right, we can coach him up. We can put him in a scheme that works to his strengths. And now he's openly taking a dump on him on Justin Fields in public with those comments. And also, here's the thing. I think Woody Johnson has checked out of this season. I talked about him the last couple of weeks on Just Enjoy the Suffering. I noted how he was cheap, and there's some proof to it.
I did see that.
And I think he's fully checked out on this season. And I'll tell you why. If you go look at that video, look at his picture, the picture of the cap that he's wearing. Usually he's wearing a New York Jets cap. Today he was wearing the cap with Crystal Palace's logo. Crystal Palace he bought into that soccer club this past summer. So it's just clear that he's checked out from this season. He recognizes that this season's a failure. He's not admitting any fault. You'll never hear an owner admit fault because of what he did, of what the decisions he's made. But between, reset the counter, boys, to 0 days without an embarrassment by the New York Jets.
Man, I
sell
mean,
the team, Woody. Sell the team.
I think I have to echo Julie's comments in the chat. She says that's a direct quote.
Yeah, it's on tape.
She
on
is
video. I'll put it in the Discord chat after the show.
And then I think, Ryan, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw something that, because he was asked about Aaron Glenn too, and he basically threw Justin Fields under the bus again. He was like, well, when you have a quarterback like that, how can you? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically put Aaron Glenn
twice.
Yeah.
In about 30 seconds, he threw him under the bus twice. And if I'm Justin Fields or I'm his agent, I'm like, get me out of here. Yeah. Get me out of here. Trade me, cut me. Most of that money you gave me, $10 million, is guaranteed. I'll walk away with that, and you could walk away with and you can have the $22 million cap hit against you as punishment for not having faith in my guy. And like I said, I've criticized Justin Fields on this program the last 6 weeks. He has not played up to the level he played in week 1 against the Steelers. That game should have been won. That's on the defense for messing that up. But for the owner of a football franchise to come out and say, and just throw him under the bus not once, but then take his dead carcass and throw him under the bus again, is unacceptable. It is unacceptable in this day and age of the NFL.
Yeah, and also I have to say, like, yeah, does it look great for Justin Fields right now? No, it doesn't. And I was wrong. I thought he'd be better in the Jets. I was on record as saying, hey, the Seahawks should take a look at him when they were still looking for their quarterback. But I'm not Good thing I'm not an NFL GM, but you can see why NFL GMs and people are enamored with Justin Fields because at times he flashes talent, especially with his legs, and he's still relatively young. And I would say in this new NFL, look at the quarterbacks who played on Monday Night Football last night. Okay, CJ Stroud excluded. Sam Darnold cast off by a couple of teams, and now he's doing well.
My team was the first one to cast him away.
Geno Smith, prior to this year, Geno Smith cast off by a couple of teams. Then he had a run where he did well. Baker Mayfield run out on a rail out of town after leading the Browns to their first playoff win in how many years because they wanted to bring in Deshaun Watson. And then he bounced around Carolina and the Rams a little bit. Now he's got a long-term extension in Tampa Bay. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. You should not cast off a quarterback so quickly because we're seeing more and more of these quote-unquote reclamation projects. Look at Mac Jones for the 49ers right now. Nobody expected this. And then
coaching matters.
Yeah, it does.
Coaching matters.
It does. Josh Dobbs from a few years ago. I can go on.
Yeah. And, Woody Johnson making the Jets look like clowns every single week. And I have to hear it from people, from Snowman, like that, like this comment, do you New York Jets, you yeeted away your entire Super Bowl future for Justin Fields. I hate that this team, my favorite football team, is a meme every single week, every single year for the last 15 years because of this owner. And this just proves he is not a suitable owner for this league. Sell the team, Woody. Sell it today. Sell it to somebody who actually cares about this franchise. Because I'm tired. I'm so tired. Well, time for the Cut the Brakes Pick'em Challenge update.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
Much happier things. Much happier things, Ryan.
Especially for you.
Calm blue oceans, calm blue oceans, calm blue oceans. All right, let's take a look at what happened this week with our picks for the Cut the Brakes Pick'em Challenge. We primarily focused, I didn't realize this, most of our focus was on the 1 p.m. garbage games. I forgot to mention the Bears, the Bears and the Saints, and the Bears-Saints game. Again, another game that wasn't as close as the score was, but I picked my two picks, the Bears, the Browns. They worked out. Tennessee, you had one job and you blew it. But here's the thing, though. I forgot to discount the fact that Mike Vrabel was having had revenge on his mind when he went back to Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I'm like, crap. Things look good for a bit, for like the first quarter and a half for the Titans. And then Drake May took over and we saw the result. For Dustin, he picked the Eagles. He picked the Packers. You got those two, and he was 1 quarter away from acquiring and getting an extra point in the standings for the Cut the Brakes Pick'em Challenge, which is of course presented by Royal Retros, King of Throwbacks. Save 15% off your order with promo code CREDHEAD at checkout. Free shipping for every order over $100. But yeah, we basically nailed our first two picks. Then our upset picks did not work out. So currently the score is 15-11. I'm still up by 4 against Dustin. Dustin had a chance to get within 2, but shut up, Lutz.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You got it. He's the one who got it. So who ended those chances. But actually, I wouldn't so much blame Will Lutz as much as I would blame the New York Giants defense and Shane Bowen. We should be still walking back from Denver right about now. But that's your update.
Anytime something like that happens, all I could think of is Scott from a couple of years ago at my house. You, Scott, me, and old Uncle Al watching the playoffs, and the Chargers blew that lead to the Jags. And Scott was like, he goes, Brendan Staley should be left on the tarmac. Oh, man.
And who knew less than a year later, he'll be left on the tarmac at Las Vegas after losing to the Raiders like 62-10.
To the aforementioned Antonio Pierce.
Yes, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, that's week 7. Again, I'm currently in the league 15 to 11. But again, go to our one of our affiliate sponsors, Royal Retros, and you're going to save yourself some money by using promo code CREDHEAD at checkout. Get 15% off your order. Plus, you get $100 for every order over $100. You get free shipping.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
All right, we're going to end the show with our favorite athletes to wear the number that's associated with the episode number that we are recording, which is number 76. And I'm going to lead it off here with my favorite number 76. I'm going with a hockey player.
Ooh.
Go with a hockey player for this one and probably next episode as well. I picked PK Subban, which in some circles might be, especially if you're a Boston Bruins fan, a New York Rangers fan, maybe a Detroit Red Wings or St. Louis Blues fan. You may be in the comment section saying PK Subban was a slew footer. He was a dirty player. Look, we can talk about PK Subban's performance on the ice. We can talk about his play. He was one of those guys who was a defenseman who's a pest. Absolute pest on the ice. But off the ice, stand-up dude. Absolute stand-up dude, because in every city he went to, whether it was Montreal, who drafted him back in 2007 in the second round, 43rd overall, whether he was in Nashville when he was traded to Nashville for Shea Weber, worked out pretty good for both teams, I think, because Montreal would go to the Stanley Cup final in 2021, and the Predators, who had PK Subban, went to the Stanley Cup final in 2017. Nashville, they traded to New Jersey, in Newark. So whatever he went, the dude was always in the community, especially with the local children's hospital. Always a guy who is the community first. I'm a player on the ice. I represent the uniform that I put on. The name of the front is more important than the name of the back. But as far as the community goes, that's the town I represent, and I'm going to be a great ambassador for the town, especially for the kids who are sick. Dustin does stuff with Extra Life. PK Subban would give his time, give his money, donate, buy toys at Christmas time, do all sorts of cool stuff for the community off the ice. Final is his career numbers: 834 points played, 115 goals, 352 assists for 467 total points, 905 penalty minutes, and also how many power goals did he score in his career? 49 power play goals in 13 seasons on the ice for Montreal, Nashville, and New Jersey. Was an all-rookie team member in 2011, 3-time All-Star, won the Norris Trophy in 2013, and was also the King Clancy Memorial Trophy winner in 2022. So that's my favorite number 76. Go ahead, Dustin. Who was your favorite number 76?
Well, first, let me say that was a great pick by you. And, it's great picking a hockey player because hockey season, it has just started. It's underway.
Yeah,
and for next episode, my pick will be fitting because the NBA season will be underway by then. Now,
there you go.
You need a certain
it's
button.
It's a new
Ryan.
goal, isn't it?
Yeah. You need a certain button, Ryan, because I've been on a roll.
Oh, here we go. All right, I got it ready. Here we go. That's not the one.
That was awesome. I love the music.
I put in that video for. I got to take hold on. I got to let some steam out of me.
Kids, won't you step outside for a second?
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
This is the button I meant to push. Homer alert!
Oh man, so a few episodes back I talked about, as I've been very vocal, he might be my favorite Seahawk ever. Number 71, Mr. Walter Jones, and I blew your mind with some facts about Mr. Walter Jones, but he is not the only Hall of Famer on that line. We're getting to the next one. Number 76, Steve Hutchinson from the University of Michigan. He was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in 2001. So Walter Jones drafted in 97. Hutch a few years later in 2001. And he just went on to ho-hum, have a Hall of Fame career. He is a 7-time Pro Bowler. He is on the Hall of Fame All 2000s team. He is a 5-time All-Pro. And along with Walter Jones, Robbie Tobeck, Steve Hutchinson, they were a part of those lines that allowed Sean Alexander to rush for all those yards. And unfortunately for me, Steve Hutchinson is notable for another reason, which I will always remember. His contract, the Minnesota Vikings offered him a contract, and it had that poison pill clause in it. And Steve Hutchinson left the Seahawks to go to the Vikings. And the Seahawks had some sour grapes about that. And our consolation prize was Nate Burleson, who the Seahawks then acquired from the Vikings. No disrespect to Nate Burleson, but I wish Hutch would have stayed. He was unbelievable. Like I said, he is a reason that Sean Alexander rushed for all those yards, and they had such a running attack for some of those Holmgren years. And now he also knows his ball because he is somebody that was mentoring Gray Zabel, the Seahawks' last draft pick in the first round. And he had a lot of complimentary things to say about Gray Zabel, and it seems to be working out so far. So shout out to you, Hutch. You had a great career. I wish you had stayed in Seattle for all of it, but hey, them's the breaks. He finished up with the Minnesota or the Tennessee Titans in 2012. So he played for 12 years. Seems to be that 12 years is kind of like a magic number for the offensive line in the NFL. I think the last few linemen we picked, Ryan, they all played for like 12 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, so Kevin Wilson in the comments saying, I know who Dustin's going to pick. Get the Homer alert ready. I did.
Yep.
I did.
He knows.
And Desi saying, sorry, fellas, didn't prepare for this week. Wasn't sure if I'd be here. Sitting in a hot tub right now. Don't be jelly. I got you for number 77. Where was our invite to the hot tub, Desi? Come on.
I do enjoy hot tubs. Unfortunately, the one I sat in the Airbnb in Virginia a few weeks ago, when I got out, it was green once the jet shut off. So didn't go back in it.
should get those jets running.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get out of here, Dustin's going to remind you about Extra Life. Go, Dustin, go.
All right. www.extra-life.org. What is that, you ask? Why? I'm glad you ask. I'm raising money for sick children local to me in the local hospital affiliated with the Children's Miracle Network. There is a network of hospitals all around the states and the world that is affiliated with this charity, and you can raise money for sick children in your area. The hospital that I will be raising money for is the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med. I'm raising money for sick local area children. The money goes directly to them. The charity does not take, Extra Life does not take any percentage of your donation. Your donation is completely tax deductible. How can I donate, you ask? It's simple. Go to the link that Ryan has put below. It's extra-life.org and search for my name, Dustin Henry. You will find me. Now, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on November 8th, I will be going live. I will be attempting to stream video games for 24 straight hours to raise money. Games on the list include Fall Guys, Borderlands 3, Helldivers 2, Mario Kart World, and I'm sure some others that I have not thought about yet. We're going to see where the day takes us. Stop on by if you want to. If you can't donate, spread the word. That's just as good. Help get the word out. Tweet it out. Share links if you're friends with me on Facebook. If you're friends with me on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, share the links there too. I put some stuff out on socials today. Hope to see you there. Ryan's already donated because he's a man, and he's always been very supportive, and I appreciate it. Any support that you can give, I would appreciate it. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
Looking forward to playing some Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah.
I got the hot dog costume. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and like I mentioned in my favorite athletes award number 76, PK Subban doing some good for the community. Dustin's doing some good for the community. So if you got some, I know times are tough right now. Every little penny counts, but this will help kids who go to local hospitals, and it'll help them get better and help comfort them in times where they need to be comforted, and help their parents get comfort. So donate at that link below. You can also just go to extra-life.org. Just search for Dustin Henry in the player search. Donate to him, and 2 weeks from Saturday he'll be attempting to play video games for 24 hours. God bless you, man.
I probably won't make it. Realistically, I'll make 12-ish, but I'll try to shoot for 24. I've done this event this will be my 8th year. 3 of the years I got to the 24 hours.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Enjoy the rest of our night. I'm gonna get this set for tomorrow, but we'll be back Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about Thursday night football's game. I believe, was it this week? The Chargers and Vikings this week?
Yes, Chargers Vikes for Thursday night football.
That's going to be interesting. Because Chargers are beat up right now, and Vikings are also beat up right now. We'll see if JJ McCarthy's back. Jim Harbaugh was talking about Joe Alt and his availability for this week, so we'll see if he's back in the lineup. Because boy, that offensive line's beat up right now. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough sledding. But we'll talk about Thursday night football. We review that game, and we'll also talk about the rest of what we're looking forward to in Week 8 of the NFL. So Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, live on Facebook, our YouTube channel. Replay later on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, and it'll also be live on the Belly Up Sports Twitter channel as well. Thanks for before we get out of here, actually, I forgot to mention, follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. Also, check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can listen on whatever podcast platform you are listening on, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and our host, which is Podbean. And hit that notification bell on the No Credentials Required Twitter account, also the YouTube account, so you know when we go live, so you know when there's show clips that go up, and also when there are general announcements. So again, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. Yes, that's you right there. Presented by Belly Up Sports. We'll be back Saturday morning live at 10 a.m. Eastern on our platforms and the Belly Up Sports Twitter account. So for Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Have a great week. We'll be back here Saturday morning. Get your coffee, get your bacon, or whatever you also eat on Saturday morning, and join us then. Until then, have a great rest of your week.
Good night, everybody.